Hello everyone, welcome to WSPC 2025. With me, Mr. Ryan, CEO, National Peanut Board, the US. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
to
you so much.
WSPC.
It's great to be here. I'm honored that you invited me.
Right. Could you please introduce yourself and what do you represent?
Yes, sir. I am Ryan Lepicier. I'm president and CEO of the National Peanut Board in the United States of America. We're what's known as a commodity checkoff board. So we have oversight from the United States Department of Agriculture, and we're really charged with two things: to promote peanuts and to do research to help farmers grow peanuts more efficiently.
Right. How has been the US peanut market? And you mentioned that you support the farmers to grow peanuts better. So what exactly is the role of National Peanut Board in promoting peanut as a commodity?
Sure, absolutely. So two things. On the production research side, we're looking at what kinds of problems are farmers facing? What are they dealing with where we could invest in some research to help solve a problem? For instance, in areas where it's drier, where they don't have as much rain, can we produce varieties of peanuts that are more drought tolerant so that farmers need less irrigation?
Right.
Or is there a particular pest or a disease that is causing problems for farmers? Can we make an investment so that we can solve that problem so that in the future we have varieties that farmers can grow that will require fewer inputs, thus lifting the bottom line?
Right.
On the promotion side, our role specifically is to promote peanuts in the domestic market, so in the U.S. market. We do that through consumer marketing, direct to the consumer. We do that through business development, building relationships with food service operators, with food manufacturers to spur innovation so that more peanuts are used in packaged goods or on restaurant menus. And then also on the promotion side, I think this is interesting, is that about 20 years ago, we decided, peanut allergy is a problem.
Yes.
And our farmers decided, I wasn't there then, but they decided we need to learn about this issue, and they started funding research. And so some of that research that's earmarked toward promotion is actually research that we do. How can we solve the peanut allergy problem? And one big result was the publication of the LEAP study in 2015. The LEAP study showed that if you give infants peanuts early, between 4 and 6 months, you can reduce peanut allergy by up to 86%.
Yes.
And now the guidelines all around the world have changed, in part from the investment that we made at the National Peanut Board.
Right. Given that US is one among the largest peanut producers, and in the current season also, as far as I know, US is expecting almost 10% more production this year. And what do you think is the domestic consumption levels and demand side for peanuts as of now? Because the prices all over the world is almost in the historical lows, and the market is very sluggish at the moment. And how is it in US, and how do you see from your side?
That's a great question. I don't think you can talk about supply without talking about demand, and vice versa. You can't talk about demand without talking about supply. They
Right.
work together,
Yes.
like a hand in glove. So you're correct. We have a large crop. So I would say maybe 7.5 to 10% larger than the 425 crop.
Yes.
I think that we'll produce close to 3.6 million farmer stock tons of peanuts. A lot of factors go into that. In the U.S., a lot of the acres that peanuts are grown on also grow cotton. So when cotton prices go down, farmers tend to grow more peanuts, and sometimes even out of rotation, which in the long term might not be the best decision, but you want to keep the farm in business, you have to grow what you can make money on. On the consumption front, we just ended our marketing year on July 31st, and this is all data that's collected by USDA. And we saw a slight increase in consumption over the previous year.
Yes.
But very slight, less than 1%.
Compared to the increase in production, it is it is not.
Yeah.
It is below par. Actually.
Now, you have to remember that in the U.S. and other parts of the world, peanuts are a very mature category, right? It's not a new product like oatmeal.
Yes,
We've been consuming peanuts for a long time.
Very long time.
So I always tell people that new product development and product innovation is critical to long-term growth.
Definitely.
We've been eating peanut butter in the United States since way before I was alive.
Exactly.
So what's coming to the consumer that's new and exciting that make them want to buy a jar of peanut butter and something else. One place where we've seen a bright spot with peanut butter is the frozen sandwiches. They're called Uncrustables. They're made by the Smucker company.
Okay.
And these sandwiches, you put them in your freezer and you put them in your kid's lunch bag or in their gym bag for a soccer practice.
Okay.
And you can just eat this. No making the sandwich.
Right.
And so that's an example of product innovation that you're still going to buy the jar of peanut butter, right? But maybe you also buy this other product because it's convenient.
You're going to use it for a different reason.
You're using it for a different reason. So I think the confectionery category on candy is another place where we see a lot of innovation.
Right.
So are you familiar with the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup made by the Hershey Company?
Yeah.
So they're constantly coming out with something new and different than the standard, classic, basic peanut butter cup. A few months ago, it was the PB&J Peanut Butter Cup. Before that, they did one with potato chips and peanut butter, and so on and so forth. So that kind of innovation is going to keep our products relevant to the consumer, and it's critical for continued growth. I think that we also have to think about new uses outside of maybe even edible, right? So aviation fuel. Can we use byproducts from peanuts to make materials like fake leather that doesn't contain plastic? Can we make can we make peanut meal part of a ration for animal feed?
In the upcoming 2026 crop, there is a change in shift in crop cultivation. Do you think the farmers would tend to slide more on to the cotton side?
If I had a crystal ball, I wish I could tell you. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. What can they get for cotton? What can they get for corn? And what can they get for peanuts? So those three crops all work together by and large. I mean, some peanut farmers in the U.S. also grow other things like soybean, but really cotton and peanuts are tied hand in hand. So it remains to be seen.
U.S. exports around, if I'm not wrong, 60% of its produce to Canada and Mexico. So given the tariff situation, what do you see? What do you see about it?
Yeah. So the latest numbers I saw, year over year through the end of June, our exports were down about 19-20% overall. But Canada was the bright spot. We were up a little bit year over year. But all of the other export markets we were down. And you're right, the uncertainty with economic policy and trade policy is driving a lot of this. So I think we have to take a wait and see approach to find out. Politicians can say whatever they want on the news, but what actually happens, what actually takes effect, is going to determine the long-term export situation.
So I just wanted to have a clarity regarding, you referred something called as farmer stocks, right? So can you explain what exactly it is, and if I have to convert this farmer stocks to in-shell basis, what is the formula you can use it for generally?
Yeah, I think, when I'm referring to farmer stock, I'm thinking about the peanuts when they leave the farm and they arrive at the first location. We call it a buying point, of course, and there's still going to be some farm material in there.
Right.
So, the in-shell is after they've cleaned them and there's no farm material, and then from there you get kernels.
So is it true that from farmer stock to in-shell basis, it is like a 10% reduction from the total, let's say?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, the exact number, and it probably depends on the variety.
Right.
So a runner's going to be different than a Virginia and so forth. So you have to look at the total production, what percentage is this, what percentage that type. But yeah, roughly 10%.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you.